Well, this arrived in the post today. I'm pretty excited to get it opened and get it unboxed here. So let's see if we can figure out how this is put together here. There's a lot of tape, which is good. Struggling to get this last little bit off here. Oh, it's taped on. That's pretty interesting that it's I don't know if it's taped on or if the adhesive on the bag has bled through. It looks like the adhesive on the shipping, the outer wrap of the bag has stuck through under the plastic for the tape here. Let's see if we can get that to peel off the tape. It is very sticky. Well, now stuck to my hand. So you can see here the box is from the High Nibble. It's an IMSAI 8080 front panel reproduction. I'm pretty excited to get my hands on it. So let's see what's in the box. Considering this came from Australia and I'm in Seattle, the box has survived reasonably well. And watching the videos, the box is designed to store the assembled unit as well. Nice warning label here. Contains cut acrylic, may have sharp edges, many small parts, choking hazard, hobby and educational interest only, simulated replica. Yeah, don't do industrial control with it, essentially. Wow, look how he's packaged this. This is very impressive. I've watched his assembly videos, and he's put a lot of attention, care, and detail into the unit. You can see that some of the screws got shook loose in shipping. No big deal. Wow, really impressed with the packaging here. He obviously had the packaging die cut. These would have potentially set in there somehow. Really impressed. That's very impressive, and it's a neat way to do this. Looks like there's one nylon standoff floating. There it is. So it's a great way to see that all the parts are in the package. Get that down in there. So you can see all the screws are here. There's the 4 nylon nuts, or 8 nylon nuts, 8 shorter spacers, 8 taller spacers. The power switch, DB9s for serial. The microcontroller, the ICs with sockets. Very impressive. So that's one of the temporary toggles. This is, of course, the power switch. Wow, the fact that he die cut all of this is just amazing to me. And a regular toggle. Absolutely amazing that he went to the effort to have this packaging die cut. Hopefully he'll sell enough of these to recoup his costs. This was not cheap to design. Let me set this on top of that backing cardboard. Wow, I'm really impressed with that. That just blows my mind. The main PCB. It's a little bit bowed, and that kind of surprises me. It should pull flat when it's bolted into all the acrylic. Board quality looks good. We've of course got the couple of surface mount devices to deal with. I watched all the assembly videos. Silk screening indicates the sides of the boards the components go on. So like the microcontroller will mount here on the back, the DB9s, various things, LEDs, the switches on the front, ICs on the front. Very nice. Little insert to keep the PC board from sliding around. Oh, and there's the heart of it. The silk screening on this looks excellent. I don't see any issues. That's really beautiful. That really does make the device. The piece of red plastic for the filter for the LEDs. The epoxy, or the looks like it's got I think it's just scratched on the back, not all the way through to the acrylic, hopefully. I'm just seeing that scratch in the plastic back there, I think, come through. A little spacer bar that comes up around the switches. No luck grabbing the plastic. The alignment guides for the LEDs and switches. You'll see all that in his assembly video. Again, what looks to be laser cut acrylic, and of course the switches. So it'd be this face up with the run stop indicators, address data, etc. on the switches. We just keep uncovering deeper and deeper layers. Back panel, again acrylic cut or laser cut acrylic. Yeah, very nice. So all of the case components can stay inside here. Get back together somewhat the orientation I took it apart. Actually, we will need these for the PC board assembly. impressed with the packaging. There's the PCB we will keep out. Of course, you need all of the components here. The Velcro will be used later in the build, in the assembly of the case. Very impressed. Very, very impressed. Set that aside. The SD card. Put that back in the box before I lose it. Firmware is, of course, the heart of the system. And a bag of loose components. A lot of resistors. The little jumper link for testing. So I'm going to begin to box stuff up here to kind of sort it and organize it, as I always do. Headers. I think I see any other headers in there or resistors. Surface mount components. LEDs. Oops. Just a note to keep in mind, if you haven't watched those assembly videos close, the LEDs actually are installed raised up off the board. So you're using this alignment guide to hold the LED up off the board, the proper spacing. I don't know if I'm putting the LEDs in the right orientation. I just want to give you the idea here. Something to keep in mind if you mount them flush to the board and trim the leads. I've got the wrong glasses on for this. Then there's a second alignment guide that goes over the LEDs to hold them all in alignment so they are held flush. They're held at the right height when you solder them in. So that's something to keep in mind when you jump in, is make sure you use the alignment guides as provided. I think I've already read somebody on the forum mounted the LEDs without using the alignment guide. And of course, not fun. I think the designer of the kit mentioned that these LEDs were picked for the brightness, you know, how they look, trying to get closer to the original look of the LEDs. That looks to be all the LEDs. We've got jumper blocks here for the pin headers. Put the resistor network in with the resistors. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 little machine screws, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 nuts. I always suggest sorting and organizing your parts. I'll put the transistor in here, and the switch can go in here as well. So we have the resistors, semiconductors, the PCM or the SD card adapter, the ROM, transistor and a switch, the capacitors, the LEDs, the connectors, and some hardware. I'll actually throw the little jumper here in a box as well, just to keep it stored out of the way. I think I will pull some stuff off the cardboard here. I'm going to go ahead and move the bolts and the spacers, etc. over. I'll just do them in little groups like this. Just to keep them together as units. You know, watching his assembly videos, I was extremely impressed with the attention to detail and the thought that went into the assembly. There's been a lot of thought go into this design, a lot of engineering, and when you get down and there's actually packaging like this to support the build, it's just extremely impressive. Designing kits may seem simple, and just throwing a bag of parts in a PC board and envelope and mailing it out is one approach. But organizing things well, creating a display like this, you know, just the thought and attention here to having this die-cut piece of cardboard to mount all the components is just very impressive to me. Again, just speaks to a well thought out, well executed kit design. So we've got all that hardware captured and in storage so it doesn't get lost. I'm going to go ahead and move the microcontroller off the board as well. He talks a lot about protecting this little Wi-Fi antenna here. Put pressure on it, you can snap it off. He mentioned how hard it was to solder one back on. He snapped off and looking at it. Yeah, that would be a major pain. So I want to protect that. The switches were installed last, I believe. But I'm going to leave them on the cardboard here. These are really impressive. The molding of the toggles looks excellent. The action's really nice on it. These center off ones here. A little bit of tack under there holding that in, that's why. The center off ones feel really good. You know, just really nice. Really pleased with what I'm seeing here. This should be a lot of fun to put together. Take another quick look at the PCB here. Like I say, the only thing that's kind of caught me off guard is just how bowed that PCB is. I'm not sure why that'd be. I mean, it's a long, narrow board. I don't think there's enough flex to worry about when it's pulled flat, mounted, breaking solder joints. Well, I think we'll wrap this first video up here. It's still a really good looking board. A huge ground pour there on the back. At least I'm assuming that's ground. It's not ground, it's just copper that was left behind, so it didn't use up extra etchant. But no, really nice. Really nice. So, I will wrap this video up here as the unboxing video, and in future videos we'll jump into following his assembly guide, unassembling the unit. We'll talk soon.